All right. Hello, hello. Are we live? Yes, we are. Okay. You don't need more information right now. You need signal. With so much getting pushed out by corporate media and those lining the pockets of faux independent media journalists, you need a quick dose of the big moves unfiltered. So here's what we're going to do. This is decision points, 10 topics, 1 minute each. No filter, no spin, just the developments that actually matter. And the patterns underneath them so that you can decide for yourself what the real story is. Today, you're going to hear about a sworn Epstein testimony that could reopen old doors. We're going to speed up my prompter because it's going too slow. You're going to hear about a missing Air Force general tied to a classified aerospace program who mysteriously disappeared. We'll be talking about a quiet shift in the financial infrastructure that could reshape banking, escalating pressures in Iran related to global shipping, and the covert influence operations playing out inside allied democracies. On their own, they are headlines. Together, they form something else. Because when you step back, you'll see an outline of a bigger picture taking shape. Information control is tightening, financial systems are being rewired, and global supply chains are becoming pressure points. Okay. Again, going too slow on the prompter. But with that said, the questions we need to be asking now isn't just what's happening, it's where this is leading to and what do you want to happen. You have more power than you may think. Reframing reality starts with a decision. Let's get into it. And we'll put 60 seconds on the clock in theory. Okay. Number one, Epstein testimony. Pam Bondi. In a new movement in one of the most explosive investigations in modern history, former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi is set to testify under oath before the House Oversight Committee on April 14th regarding her role in the Jeffrey Epstein case. The same Pam Bondi who said the DOJ is done with the Epstein files. The same DOJ that admitted withholding footage of death, physical abuse, and injury. The same DOJ keeping half of 6 million documents sealed. Since Bondi stated the DOJ is done, we've learned that the Epstein's accountant testified that the estate settled with Jane Doe number 4 with both Epstein and Trump. The same Jane Doe 4 whose files went missing and only surfaced after Trump bombed Iran. And now, with the Attorney General of the United States, who has to now the Attorney General of the United States has to sit in a room and answer questions under oath. The walls are closing in on this particular arena, and the nation is locked in to see what happens. So that's again April 14th. Save that date. Follow the channel for updates. Topic number 2, UFO gatekeeper disappearance. So there have been breaking developments in a mystery that's been raising national security alarms, and that is related to retired Air Force Major General William Neal McCasland, who was once the commander of the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and described by insiders as the military's key UFO gatekeeper. He has been missing for nearly a month. On February 27th, the 68-year-old left his Albuquerque, New Mexico home on foot for what appeared to be a hike in the mountains. He took his hiking boots, wallet, red backpack, and a .38 revolver, but left behind his phone, glasses, and wearable devices. His wife returned from a medical appointment to find him gone. Despite massive searches by the local sheriff's deputies, the FBI, drones, and canine teams, there's still no trace of him. Authorities say there is no evidence of foul play, but 2 members of Congress, Representatives Tim Burchett and Eric Burlison, are sounding the alarm, calling the disappearance of someone with McCasland's classified UFO and advanced aerospace knowledge as disturbing, to say the least, and possibly that there is a darker pattern at play. The search continues, but did I mention that this is the sixth person related to the Air Force Research Laboratory that is either dead or missing in the past 9 months? So stay tuned for updates on that. Next topic. Iran oil sanctions rejected offer. So in a surprising geopolitical twist and a rejection that's raising eyebrows, the United States has temporarily eased sanctions on Iranian oil exports for 30 days, with one key condition: that Iran cannot sell to North Korea, Cuba, or Russia-occupied regions of Ukraine. This move was widely seen as a potential pressure release valve in global energy markets. But Tehran's response? No thank you. Iran rejected the offer outright, signaling it may prefer strategic leverage over short-term economic relief. With tensions already high in the region, the decision suggested that it is about far more than oil. In fact, we got more than a suggestion in the form of a demand from Iran, which lays out their perspective quite clearly. They asked for, I think, about 5 things. First, being a complete halt of aggression and assassinations by the U.S. and Israel of Iranian officials. That's happened multiple times as we've invited them in for negotiations. They're asking for payment of war damages, reparations. I think that's to the tune of about, 800 billion is what they're asking for. So this could be a costly war if that ends up getting paid. They're asking for an end of the war on all fronts, including for all resistance groups, proxies, explicitly including Lebanon and Hezbollah. Iran also wants any deals to cover its allies. They want international recognition of Iran's natural and legal right to exercise sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, giving Tehran effective control over who transits the waterway and the ability to collect fees and restrict shipping if they like. So that is that. Moving on to the Strait of Hormuz, fertilizer shock risk. So relating to that same issue. Experts are warning that a disruption in the Strait of Hormuz could trigger a second-order crisis, one that hits global food supply. Roughly 1/5 of the world's oil passes through that narrow corridor, but it's not just energy at risk, it's fertilizers. Modern agriculture depends heavily on petrochemical inputs. If shipping lanes are disrupted, fertilizer production and disruption could stall right as planting season begins. That creates a delayed effect, not immediate shortages, but reduced yields months from now as we go into planting season. In other words, today's naval conflict could be tomorrow's food crisis. A slow-moving risk with potentially massive consequences. Easy for me to say. Okay, next one. A Jewish volunteer ambulance, or I'm sorry, 4 of them actually, were set on fire. Terrible news coming from London. 4 Jewish volunteer ambulances were set on fire in London in what is being called an apparent anti-Semitic attack by Prime Minister Keir Starmer. He's saying that he didn't make the attack, just to be clear. This story matches up with the profile that has been feared, one of anti-Semitism that some claim is coming, that require cutting back on free speech, backed up with jail time for those who violate it, particularly in places like Canada and England. They've already jailed 20,000 people for hate speech crimes like holding a sign as simple as one that says Free Palestine. It's unfortunate to see such terrible actual violence at all for any reason, but it doesn't seem like these extreme measures they've been taking has really done anything positive. And I should also say that we find it abhorrent, any sort of hate speech against any group. But this particular situation is a bit sketchy, and so we're looking into it, as others have, and we're just actually reporting on they're looking into it. So with that said, according to Telegraph, this group who has claimed credit for doing it didn't exist on anybody's radar up until 3 weeks ago. And it's not in any government database, and they had no social media profiles. Those have since emerged and are starting to reach out, but they didn't exist anywhere before 3 weeks ago. Also interesting is that to date, the only news outlet that they have reached out to is CBS, who many of you may be aware was recently taken over by Bari Weiss, who is known for her strong Israel bias. She's actually kind of famous for it. Strange that they would want their message, this terror group, to be filtered through the lens of an organization that seems so diametrically opposed to their mission. There are also some very strange clerical discrepancies that have popped up. Apparently, the inscription below their logo, written on their logo, written in Arabic, has multiple mistakes on it, including the misspelling of the word Islamic. Additionally, sorry, I was going to say that it could be they're putting all their energy into the attack and used AI to make the logo, but in any respects, it doesn't really show the trappings of a well-organized group, and more of a fly-by-night / one that was put together to do a potential false flag. So that was one thing. Also, their channel name has a similar misspelling. I think I forget exactly what word was misspelled there, but anyway, quite sketchy and questionable, to say the least. And London has had multiple false flags in their history, so we are skeptical over here. Moving on to Black Cube and the Slovenian election operation. A covert intelligence operation is now shaping a European election. Reports out of Slovenia claim operatives tied with the Israeli private intelligence firm Black Cube, who is known by some as a private Mossad, posed as representatives of a fake investment fund, luring political figures into meetings and then secretly recording them, and then cutting and kind of splicing those videos to present a message. So they did this to the minister Pippin. These recordings were later edited and released anonymously just days before the national election. So why Slovenia? So Slovenia has had the strongest pro-Palestinian stances in the EU, among them recognizing the state of Palestine in 2024. They also placed a total arms embargo on Israel in 2025 and announced intentions of joining the South Africans in their anti-war crime case at the ACJ. And they also banned imports from illegal Israel settlements. Black Cube has faced scrutiny before, including its work on behalf of Harvey Weinstein. This story highlights the intersection between money and global power schemes that we need to stay wary of as we consider candidates for the midterms and propose legislations that affect that area. Moving on. And the Nexstar Tegna deal was approved. A major consolidation in American media just cleared a final hurdle. The Justice Department has approved Nexstar's $3.5 billion acquisition of Tegna, significantly expanding Nexstar's reach across the local television markets. I think that they went ahead and greatly surpassed the limit that the FCC normally allows for consolidation. I think it used to be like 19%, and now we're looking at something like 65 or 70%. It's just a massive thing. They're consolidating. They're firing reporters left and right. It's pretty scary, and it's not good for getting diverse viewpoints, and not good for local markets at all. Critics warn that it concentrates even more control over local news into fewer hands. At a time when trust in media is already under scrutiny, the question becomes who shapes the narrative and how centralized is that power becoming? Okay, moving on to the Earthquake Faction Ultimatum. A shadowy militant group is escalating tensions in the defense sector. An organization calling itself the Earthquake Faction has issued a direct ultimatum to an Israeli weapons manufacturer just days after a fire destroyed part of that company's facility. And they stated to LPP Holding, "We have taken your restricted documents and burned the rest to the ground. You have until the 20th of April to publicly cut all ties with Elbit Systems and denounce the barbaric occupation of Palestine, or we will release these documents to the public." And it's to anyone's guess what those documents are, but I suppose this group does. The group says it will release the stolen, restricted internal documents if the deadline is not met, but the combination of infrastructure sabotage and public threats suggests a new potential front, one that blends cyber messaging and physical disruption. We'll monitor for any confirmation or escalation here. And next topic, Russian tanker standoff. So there is a super high stakes drama on the high seas. A Russian flagged tanker, the Anatoly Kolokin, is carrying 73,000 barrels of crude oil across the Atlantic, enough to ease Cuba's crippling blackouts for weeks. Officially, its AIS destination reads Atlantis, USA, but tracking data points to the Cuban port. Russia says it's a humanitarian aid. The Kremlin is backing the delivery. The Trump administration says no. The Treasury just tightened rules, explicitly banning Russian oil to Cuba. Coast Guard and Navy ships are already in the Caribbean. One U.S. destroyer is spotted nearby. America's Navy is stretched thin, fighting in the Persian Gulf against Iran. If U.S. boards or diverts the tanker, it risks a direct confrontation with Russia. If it lets the ship through, the Cuban oil blockade cracks. The tanker has shifted course in recent days, but the standoff is far from over. We're watching this one closely. Developments expected any hour. Next and last. So breaking news, FBI Director Kash Patel's email was hacked. This was announced by the DOJ. A major cybersecurity breach at the highest level, in that Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, had his personal email hacked by a group believed to be linked to Iran. And portions of those emails are now being released online. They've released, I think, 2010 through 2019. And we'll see what's to come. So far, nothing particularly spicy, but it's expected that they're going to be revealing connections, personal connections, and things that obviously they think is going to be interesting and damaging to Kash Patel and to America. But it seems like they're going to be releasing it in tranches. Yeah, also of note, though, is the FBI announced like a year or two ago, I think 2024, that his email was hacked. So I don't know if this is a separate hack and this is just the fruits of that hack or what, but this is something that has been seen before, perhaps. But either way, I think we will see more to come on that. Okay, and I'm ahead of my prompter here. But yeah, so that is our show for today. Thanks for joining us. Please consider liking and subscribing. We are looking to do this on a daily basis, and we'll be better about doing that more often. But basically, we want to give you the big stories that you need in a short period of time so you can move on with your day, things that are important to know about, things that you should be making decisions on. I hope you found value in this. If this helped you and gave you something that you're not seeing in 10 minutes or thereabouts, please consider subscribing and liking. It helps with the algorithm. We're trying to get people signal through the noise. So thanks.